Let's start with the AM News now. President Mahama, the Chief of Staff, and senior government officials were visibly moved to tears during a solemn wreath-laying ceremony held in honor of 8 prominent individuals who perished in a tragic helicopter crash. The ceremony, which is part of the official 3-day national mourning period, took place at the ceremonial garden in front of the presidency. It drew attendance from family members of the deceased, senior government officials, military personnel, and members of the public, all united in grief and remembrance. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
A trumpet sounds solemnly through the ceremonial gardens of the Jubilee House. A cloud of grief and deep sorrow hung in the air as the nation mourns. The president appeared visibly emotional, at times wiping away tears. The vice president and chief of staff also struggled to contain their emotions. Government appointees, party executives, members of parliament, and ordinary Ghanaians have all gathered here in a united show of respect and mourning. As part of the ceremony, flowers were laid and candles lit in memory of the 8 persons. The 2024 flag bearer of the People's National Convention, PNC, Bernard Mona, shared a deeply personal moment, revealing that his son had been scheduled to present an idea to the late Minister of Environment. But fate, he said solemnly, had other plans.
And see, my son, where is Maliri? Mutala was scheduled to meet my son yesterday, not today, 9:30 a.m. for a presentation that they have on plastic waste and also on STEM education. So they had prepared to come and meet, because Tuesday he was supposed to meet them last week and they didn't come on. They were ready to meet him and they didn't. And I have said at many platforms, possibly if Omani had picked my call yesterday, given our connection, he would have requested that I join him in the flight so that we can have a conversation. When he's done, then we can talk and come back. And God decided that he should go. So in terms of integrity, service to nation, they have distinguished themselves.
Political science lecturer and CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, also shared a deeply personal connection. He said the late Defense Minister, Dr. Mane was the one who encouraged him to accept a government role. He added that he supervised the dissertation of the late Environment Minister, Murtala Mohammed.
I have a personal relationship. He was one of the reasons why I accepted the offer to serve in this government. Anytime there's a program, he will call me. Look, there's a program, make sure you attend. And when you go, make sure the old man sees you. I said, but I don't like that. I mean, a lot of people would want to go greet the then candidate Mahama after the program. And I usually would want to say, no, make sure he sees you. And he keeps talking to me about some of these things. He kept talking to me about some of these things and all that. It's a great strategist, very smart, very intelligent, very resilient, strong-willed person. And above all, he's a human being, Oyonipa. So I'm very much pained. We assisted and supervised the PhD dissertation of Murtala. Yes. I was one of his supervisors first day. I later became the lead supervisor of his dissertation. And he completed last year, graduated last year, producing one of the best dissertations, PhD dissertations, in the political science department. A very kind-hearted person.
Deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Gilbert Agri, popularly known as Abeku Santana, shared a very personal story about his childhood memories with Dr. Mane.
All of them. Honorable Mane is my mate. We both grew up from Koforidua. We all completed 6 from the same year. He was in Pojosa, I was in Ghana. But beyond that, we were very close. I know his mother, His mother is my mother's friend. We all grew up together. And his father was the Central Regional Birth and Death Officer. Yeah. So when I was in Cape Coast during my O-level, when I ran out of money, I go to his father. So Kofi and I, we are brothers. I mean, before politics, before we entered the university. So, I mean, whenever I see him, Kofi, then so Abiku, then we talk, we chat, So the memories of our, childhood, beginning. I remember when he was a mass server of Reverend Father Gabriel Palmer-Backer at the St. George's Parish Cathedral in Kofrodia in the 80s. He was a mass server. Yeah, and I'm a Methodist. So we know ourselves. We all come from Kofrodia. We grew up together. Like I said, his mother is my friend. She worked at the ministry, I think land valuation. So I know him very well before he even came to politics. So I was traumatized. In fact, I couldn't wrap my head around that. What happened? How did it happen? Has he survived? Has he been injured? I was just thinking about possibility that he has escaped and he's hurt. Until the confirmation, I still can't believe it.
Now, still related to that, the remains of samples of the remains of the 8 individuals who tragically lost their life in the helicopter crash have been flown to South Africa for DNA testing. Now, this measure aims to ensure accurate identification, allowing families to pay their final respects to their loved ones. There's more in this report.
The mortal remains of Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah and Environment Minister Dr. Murtala Mohammed, along with 6 others who tragically lost their lives in a helicopter crash yesterday, have been transported to South Africa to conduct a DNA on their bodies to be able to identify who is who. Now, when the incident happened in the Ashanti region yesterday, they were burnt beyond recognition, and due to that, it has been difficult to identify the bodies with the individuals. Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak had a few words to say.
But to speed up the investigation, obviously we need to do further examination and investigation just for the avoidance of doubt. And some of the forensic that needs to be done, taking samples have to be done outside the country. So that's why we are trying to fast track, and you see all that. We know that this evening the President will address the country and the world, so we hope that we will all be patient and wait for the President's address. I want to thank the families sincerely for all the cooperation that we've had from them and the support they've shown. We know they are grieving, they are in a hurry to have their family members so that they can attend them. But we are happy that they are cooperating with us, because it's not just about burying. It's beyond burying, trying to establish what happened, how things went, so that we avoid it into the future. So we want to thank the family for all the support. And together with the Health Minister, the Minister for Lands, who is now acting as the Defense Minister, we've been working around the clock just to speed up everything. And this is part of the process. So we are hoping that this will, when the President addresses the country, other better particulars may be given.
Their bodies are expected back in Ghana as soon as the DNA is concluded. They were accompanied to South Africa by some Ghanaian delegation, which included officials from the Criminal Investigation Department. Or the family of Muntaka Mohammed, who is a Muslim, would have wished that he was buried today according to the customs of Islam, but due to the nature of how they were burnt. From the Kotoka International Airport, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Now, my colleague Anne Dase has turned the microphone to some of you to share your thoughts on this tragic event.
Organizer from Crow, and this organizer, and Omane-Boamah is always a pastor. When you see Omane-Boamah, you tell honorable, say come to office. Or if he have something in his hand, we tell you, wait, I will see you. So Yesterday was a bad day for us, and we will never forget in our life. But we hope God should keep them in his boss.
So sad that we are losing him at this stage, when Ghana need people with cool heads to manage the affairs of the country. So all we can say that we pray that God keeps his soul. Wherever he goes, he should be happy there. And to the family, we pray to the Almighty to give them peace.
I first heard the news on the television, so it's like I was watching to see what exactly has happened. Yeah, everything is off. You can identify even the plane. How much more the human being? So it's a sad news.
See, it's a big blow for Ghana yesterday. When we heard the news, and in office we not feel well. And it's not easy for us. Mahama Buama and the other minister, that man, and we lost that man. It's not easy for Ghana. Ghana, we lost some big three as for yesterday. So Ghana yesterday, what it means we will not forget.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to lock big mess like that in the country. I mean, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. Even yesterday I couldn't sleep. And we pray that this will never ever happen to us again as a nation. And our condolences to the bereaved families.
And my condolences to the family. We are with them, we are mourning with them, and whatever happens, God knows best.
May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. Now, on the same story, human rights group challenging high to want government to implement responsible cooperative mining and skills development program as a lasting tribute to the 8 victims of Wednesday's tragic helicopter crash. President of Challenger Heights, James Kofi Annan, described the fatal crash as a sober reminder of the urgent need for decisive and sustained action against illegal mining.
To mourn with the people of Ghana, and we want to say our condolences to the bereaved families. This is a stark reality that reminds us that there's an urgent need for the government of Ghana to address illegal mining. Illegal mining, popularly called galamsey, has affected every aspect of our lives, especially children. Just last week, we had to, in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service, rescued 25 girls who actually traveled from Nigeria to galamsey sites in the western region. And eventually we supported in repatriating them to Nigeria. In a few months ago, you heard of the confrontation between the military and the illegal miners in Obuasi. We had to go in there, and the 8 or 9 people who died, they are children. Up to now, we are the one taking care of them. And there are so many of such stories that have happened that we have heard of. Illegal mining pits collapsing and a lot of people dying and leaving children behind. We hear of stories of children who are affected by dangerous chemicals as a result of illegal mining. Some children being born with insufficient limbs and water-borne diseases and water pollution and all of that. So illegal mining is not only affecting the environment, it's also affecting children. And that's the reason why we want to urge the government to use this as an opportunity to comprehensively address illegal mining so that this will become a legacy, that the death of these ministers and the military personnel and all the officials will not be in vain.
Away from that, 50 faculty members from the University of Cape Coast Faculty of Science and Technology have undergone training at a capacity building workshop aimed at strengthening STEM education at the tertiary level. Dean of the faculty, Professor Kofi Ayebi Arthur, speaking at the workshop, noted that the initiative is designed to equip lecturers with the necessary skills and knowledge to lay a strong foundation for nurturing the next generation of STEM professionals. Abigail Esel Nkrumah has more in this report.
The workshop stems from a long-standing relationship between the UCC College of Education and the Banksport Technologies Limited. The organization, a subsidiary of a larger conglomerate based in Nigeria, facilitated the technical know-how in the development of MPhil and MEd in STEM education. Speaking at the workshop, a professor of technology and engineering studies at the Brigham Young University in Utah, USA, one of the workshop's collaborators, Dr. Stephen Shamway, highlighted the significance of the workshop.
I would say the purpose of this STEM program that we are having here at the University of Cape Coast is capacity building. Capacity building, because the professors here at Cape Coast University, they already have the expertise in their content knowledge. My job here, maybe my interactions with them, is to teach them the process of how we can implement STEM into your local high schools so that the students that are attending your high schools can have opportunities to design and build and to have opportunities to do engineering and engage in the engineering design process.
The Dean of the University of Cape Coast Faculty of Science and Technology, Professor Kofi Ayebi Arthur, indicated that the workshop is to contribute to a well-equipped future of STEM professionals.
We are training students not only for the current situation, but for the future. So we want to make our students future-proof. So the lecturers here are the key implementers. The lecturers will train the teachers, and the teachers will go out to train the students in the pre-tertiary institutions. So this workshop, in collaboration with our visitors from BYU, is helping us to protect and to give the lecturers the needed foundation, which will also now extend to the students. We realize that the STEM, it encompasses several subjects. So we are in partnership with the School of Sustainable Engineering and the Physics Department so that we share resources, and these resources are human resource and material resources.
Some participants of the workshop shared their takeaways.
So with this workshop, we were actually exposed to practical learning, and I think as a lecturer, if I incorporate this practical learning into my teaching, it will help my students to better appreciate the course that I'm teaching them, which I think it's a very good thing and a step in the right direction.
From UCC, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
The executive director of the Joe Baylor NGO, David Nibe, has observed that the Baobab tree has a potential potential climate resilient crop that can boost rural economies, empower women and youth, and address child labor. He disclosed that the value of the Baobab powder market in 2020 was pegged at over $7.2 billion and expected to reach $10.2 billion in 2027. He is, however, unhappy that despite the significance and potential of the Baobab tree, it has been neglected. There is more in this report.
The Baobab tree, often called the upside-down tree because of its unique shape, is a remarkable and iconic tree narrative to sub-Saharan Africa, particularly Ghana, and the northern belt of the country. At Tanchara, in the Lora municipality of the Upper West region, the Joe Baylor NGO official launch its Baobab seedling distribution program. Executive Director David Nibe, in a speech read on his behalf by the Secretary of the Board of the NGO, Roger Yelkomunu Zolko Ere, made a compelling appeal to the government, urging them to prioritize Baobab cultivation as a key strategy for rural development.
Despite the promised benefit of the Baobab, several barriers still hinder the attainment of its full economic potentials. These include the dependence on Baobab from the wild, lack of processing infrastructure in rural areas, limited access to organic and trade certification, and finally, insufficient government support. As it stands, the Baobab is still not included in any of the government flagship programs.
Zulku Ere disclosed that the global Baobab powder market was valued in 2020 at over $7.2 billion and expected to reach $10.2 billion in 2027, underscoring the importance of the Baobab tree, which is a climate-resilient crop.
The fruit pulp is rich in vitamin C. The seeds yield valuable oil for cosmetics and foods. The leaves are nutritious for both people and animals. Even the bark and wood have traditional and medicinal purposes and also ecological uses.
Baobab tree researcher from Botanical University, Professor Kenneth Fafa, in a speech read on his behalf by the director of seed, Dangana Mahama, noted that Baobab cultivation holds transformative promises in sub-Saharan Africa.
Baobab cultivation holds transformative promise, not just for the savanna regions of Ghana, but for the entire of the sub-Saharan Africa. It has the potential to become a vital cash crop, contributing to food security, biodiversity, and climate resilience.
Nora Municipal Director of Food and Agriculture, Jacob Akesbedek, described Baobab as the cocoa of the North.
I would say the cocoa of Ghana, and of course the cocoa of the North, more importantly, and the cocoa of the Laura. Literally speaking, Baobab is also in the family of the same cacao species, and thankfully it does well under drought situations, and that is ideal for the Upper West and more importantly for the Laura.
The chief of Tanchara, Nana Lokonyi Wali II, and other dignitaries planted the Baobab seedlings to mark the beginning of a transformative hope for the community. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Tanchara.
Let's do business updates now. And the Bank of Ghana has announced that it has postponed the national launch of the city's 60th anniversary program on Friday, August 8th. According to a statement issued by the bank, this is due to the tragic death of 5 prominent government officials and 3 members of the Ghana Armed Forces in a military helicopter crash which occurred on Wednesday. Here is more.
Ghana was on Friday, August 8, supposed to launch the city at 60 anniversary activities at the Accra International Conference Center, but the central bank in a statement said the launch has been postponed due to the tragic death of 5 prominent government officials and 3 members of the Ghana Armed Forces in a military helicopter crash which occurred last Wednesday. The bank, however, extended its deepest condolences to President of the Republic and the government and the people of Ghana and the families of the departed. It added that the bank appreciates the understanding and cooperation of all its stakeholders and the general public during this period of national mourning.
Meanwhile, the business community has joined Ghanaians in expressing its sympathy and condolences to the government and families of the 8 persons who lost their lives in yesterday's helicopter crash near Adanse in the Ashanti region. Here are some of them.
Let's first start with the Ghana Chamber of Mines, which in a statement maintained that it is their hope that the death of these gallant citizens will not end up in vain. The chamber argued that the true respect that one can pay to them is how we work hard to end illegal and irresponsible mining in the country. The Ghana Association of Banks also in a statement maintained that the banking industry stands with the nation in mourning the tragic loss of these distinguished public servants and professionals. The Association of Ghana Industries, for instance, recounts their engagement with the Deputy Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Murtala Mohammed, at the Industrial Summit earlier this year, and even his contribution to the association and the sector. Telecom giant MTN in a statement expressed their condolence to the victims. Its chief executive, Stephen Blewett, called on all citizens to honor the memories of those who have passed with dignity and respect. The Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, on their part, maintained that the victims are not just leaders and professionals, but pillars of service and dedication to their country. Oil marketing giant Goil described the victims as persons who served with purpose and distinction. Most of these firms have also come up with several themes on their social media platforms expressing their condolences to the families of these victims.
Let's wrap the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. So that will be all for the business news, and that's all actually in news. Up next, sports here on the AM Show.